What is going on, you guys? Petplatypus here, and it is time to review Hunter x Hunter Chapter 357. Oh no. Oh no, what are you guys about to see? Are you guys about to see Petplatypus be hyped for a Hunter x Hunter chapter? You're about to see Petplatypus be hyped for a Hunter x Hunter chapter because this fucking chapter was absolutely phenomenal. I loved this chapter. I don't care what anybody says. I fucking loved this chapter. It was badass as fuck. Hisoka was on point. It was awesome. Okay, I'll just get my one criticism out of the way. Hisoka's bungee gum and texture surprise thing making his hand and his foot. For one, I don't really understand that because does that mean he's constantly using his nen when he has those active? Or did he just replace his hand? Or like, couldn't he have done that during the fight? Like, you know, couldn't he have just shot gum from his nub instead of saying, oh, I gotta use my other hand? Like, so that's a little bit inconsistent, but yeah, so that's a problem. But other than that, he's looking good, he's looking pristine, he's got the fake cosmetic fucking bungee gum and shit on, and then he's just like, I'm gonna kill the spiders. He just says it to her, I'm gonna kill the spiders. What's her name? Machi, I believe? And she's cool. I've always liked her design, and it's cool to see her interacting with Hisoka again. Very reminiscent of the earlier Heaven's Arena arc. And yeah, it's cool when he just, I don't know what he did. He like held her in place with something. I guess he used bungee gum. I don't think, have we ever seen her? I don't recall her ever losing her cool like that. She got super pissed and had like a silly, angry face. It was kind of funny though. It was kind of cool. But yeah, he's like, I'm gonna kill the spiders. And then, lo and behold, little dude gets fucking killed. Little fucking, what the fuck's his name? Starts with a K, whatever. I think, what did he do? What was his power? He could, like, make copies of stuff. I think at the auction he was making copies of, like, the stuff that was being sold. That's cool, I guess. Not really a combat power. I don't know what he could do in combat, but he's dead. Head decapitated by Hisoka. And then Shalnark. And Shalnark has no powers right now, so these are, like, the perfect two to kill real quick, kind of off-screen. In order to do this. It is kind of anticlimactic to see a couple of them die off screen, but at the same time they are, as far as I can tell, two of the weaker members, and he's just like 10 to go. Now, I don't know how many there were originally. I don't think he would have killed Machi. I think he would have left her alone. He told her to go tell them that I'm going to kill all you guys. Because I think he has a thing for her, if I remember correctly, or am I pulling that out of my ass? I feel like they had, well, he's Hisoka. He kind of fucking tries to flirt with everybody in a weird way, so I don't know, but I feel like there was kind of talk from him towards her like that when they first interacted, but I could be wrong. But either way, he sent her off to tell them. He's like, I'm coming, two of you guys down. And that was fucking awesome. It was really cool. I knew no one was going to die. That's another thing. I knew no one, I mean, he did technically die, and then I don't know if that was a condition he had preset on his Nen, or if he created that condition on the spot. But if he created that condition on the spot, that's kind of BS. He kind of pulled that out of his ass to bring himself back to life. I mean, that was kind of iffy. I don't know. I feel like I hope he had that pre-planned and he was just going through it in his head again. But regardless, really, really cool. He looked like a fucking psycho fucking freak when he was all fucked up and still alive, but it was cool. But I guess Kogachi tried to have his cake and eat it too because he did kill Hisoka, but then Hisoka brought himself back to life. So it was like, yeah, it was a death match. Hisoka died, but of course no one was really gonna die because obviously. And now we've got even more greatness. We've got the Phantom Troop involved with the Dark Continent arc now. They want to steal some valuable treasure from one of the princes, or a couple of the princes, I'm not too sure. They're all gonna gather together. Well, not all of them. They ain't all gonna gather together, but most of them are gonna gather together. But yeah, it was fucking awesome. Hisoka was absolutely fucking pristine in this episode, or not episode, in this chapter. It was amazing. It was truly super enjoyable, super fun to read. There was massive story progression here. Two of the Phantom Troop are gone. Now, I don't consider some of the Phantom Troop members to be like major characters, but the fact that two of them are killed in such a sudden way is interesting, it is unpredictable, and overall, I like how it was handled, even if it was off-screen, which some could say might be a little bit disappointing, but again, they don't really have any combat powers currently, so I think it makes sense. So yeah, and Crollo, obviously we know how they feel when their members get killed, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how everything plays out. But yeah, man, I don't know. This was a fucking fun one, man. I loved this chapter. Hisoka was awesome. Probably the best chapter of the Dark Continent arc, in my opinion. I don't care which ones had more story progression or world building or whatever the fuck. For my money, this is the most entertaining, and for me, this is the best chapter of the Dark Continent arc so far. But yeah, it was great. I loved it. What else happened? So they plan to go steal some money. They're all going to gather together, so they're going to be involved in the Dark Continent arc. He's got his hit list set. He's got 10 more of them to go. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be really interesting. But yeah, so Ahsoka did lose the fight, which is whatever. I mean, I was hashtag Team Ahsoka, but I mean, it was kind of... It is still disappointing, though. Like, I mean, but at the same time, they're clearly going to fight again at some point, so this wasn't, like, the fight. Which kind of makes this fight pointless in retrospect, but it does set up him going to kill them, and this fight set up this chapter, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, this chapter is better than the entire fight. I mean, you can fucking say whatever you want about me saying that, but I think this fucking chapter was better than the entire fight. It had Dark Continent story progression. It had Ahsoka being fucking awesome. He was being awesome in a couple of those other chapters, but just taking those two out, like 2 deaths, and just... It was awesome. It was fantastic. I loved the chapter. I'd probably give it a solid... I sound like I'm going to give it an 11 out of 10, but I can't go that high. I'd probably give it like a solid 9 out of 10. I thought it was an amazing chapter of Hunter x Hunter, and we'll have to see what happens going forward, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was mostly... This is more like a reaction than a review. I tried to throw in some analysis. Actually, no, I can throw in a couple more things for the review. The art in this chapter overall was good. A couple, panels looked a little sketchy, but whatever. Overall it was it was cleaner than usual. Or not usual, it was cleaner than like the last chapter or whatever. But what was I gonna say? There were a couple shots though. Most of them looked pretty good. One shot though, where he smacks Shalnark and he slams him in the ground. That was terrible. You could barely even tell. You could kind of make out what was happening, but it was just like, no. That was a fucking Togashi, no. Bad Togashi. And then, what else was in there that was kind of iffy? I'm trying to think. A couple of shots of him with, like, the bloodied, like, missing nose and shit. Some of that was, like, really messy. Like, you couldn't really... But whatever. He was all fucked up, so I guess it makes sense. But overall, the chapters had pretty solid art for Togashi. So yeah, overall it was pretty solid. A couple panels that looked kind of weak. Overall, though, I still enjoyed the chapter immensely. I think it was absolutely fantastic. It was awesome. Very, very subjective review this time around, but fuck it. But yeah, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. It's more than solid, I suppose. I'm going to give it an amazing 9 out of 10. And yeah, what did you guys think of this chapter of Hunter x Hunter? You can tell me in the comment section below. Also, follow me on Instagram or add me on PSN. I'm petplatypus on both. You can also give this video a thumbs up and share it on social media. Both of those would help me out a lot. If you watched the entire video, you must have liked it at least a little bit, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.